know that Christians in any state or walk of life are called to live a life of holiness. In the documents of the Second Vatican Council, we have the dogmatic constitution of the Church, Lumen Gentium, in which the 5th chapter is dedicated entirely to call to holiness. Many disciples of Jesus Christ down the ages have strived to be holy by living their lives according to gospel values and doing the will of God. People like Saint Joseph Vaz, Venerable Father Agnello, Saint Francis Xavier, Saint Mother Teresa, an Italian mother, Saint Gianna Beretta Malia, and so many others, have lived a truly Christian life and have been acknowledged by the Church as saints. After the Second Vatican Council, many priests, religious, and lay faithful have been canonized because they have lived life of Christ and borne witness to Him in and through their vocation and mission. One such person worth mentioning is Blessed Carlo Acutis, who was beatified by Pope Francis in the year 2020. He is known as the Millennial Saint and the Saint of the Internet and the Saint of the Eucharist. Carlo Acutis was born on the 3rd of May 1991 in London, where his parents were working. A few months later, his parents, Andrea Acutis and Antonia Salzano, moved into Milan in Italy. Carlo's wealthy parents were not particularly religious like other boys of his age. He was enthusiastic, interested in computers, video games, and the internet. However, as a devout Catholic, from the day he received his first Holy Communion at the age of 7, he never missed participating in the Holy Mass and persuaded his mother to come along with him for Mass. He always tried, either before or after the Eucharistic celebration, to pause before the tabernacle to adore the Lord. Our Lady was his great confidant, and he never failed to honor her by reciting the Holy Rosary every day. In addition to Saint Francis of Assisi, Carlo took several of the young saints as his models, including Saints Bernadette Soubirous, Jacinta and Francisco Marto, and Dominic Savio. At school, Carlo tried to comfort his friends whose parents were undergoing divorce, as well as stepping in to defend disabled students from bullies. After school hours, he volunteered to spend his time with the city's homeless and destitute. Carlo was gifted with everything related to the world of computers. His friends and adults with computer engineering degrees considered him a genius. Everyone was amazed at his ability to understand the secret of computers, which are normally accessible only to specialized university degrees. Having this gift, he had a project in mind, which was to design a web page listing the Eucharistic miracles around the world, namely the consecrated bread and wine becoming the real human flesh and blood of Jesus Christ. Sadly, he was diagnosed with leukemia. At the age of 15, Carlo offered his sufferings to God for the intentions of Emeritus Pope Benedict XVI and the entire Church. He died on 12th October 2006. As he had willed, Carlo was buried in Assisi in the Saint Mary Major's Chapel of the Stripping, where Francis had returned his clothes to his father and began a radical following of the gospel. After his death, the townspeople began to attribute miracles through his intercession, and for his beatification process, the miracle of his own mother was accepted. This was the miracle. Acutis' mother, Antonia, at the age of 44, gave birth to twins who were born exactly 4 years on the day after his death. Truly, Blessed Carlo Acutis is a true inspiration for our times, especially the youngsters, the internet savvy. Let us be inspired by him. Firstly, he said our goal must be the infinite and not the finite. The infinity is our homeland. We are always expected in heaven. Secondly, he called the sacrament of the Eucharist as my highway to heaven and placed it at the center of his life. And finally, when he was suffering with leukemia and was aware that he was going to die, he said, I am happy to die because I lived my life without wasting even a single minute of it on anything unpleasing to God. Carlo's life was short but fulfilled because he did the will of God in good time and in bad, in sickness and in health. The life of Blessed Carlo that was reflected upon invites us to embrace the path of holiness in our normal day-to-day life situation, knowing and doing the will of God by participating devoutly in the Holy Eucharist, by using our talents and modern technology for the glory of God and uniting our sufferings with the sufferings of Christ. Let us keep this saying of Carlo Acutis in mind as we journey forward on the path of holiness, to always be close to Jesus. That's my life plan.